Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Reading from Srimad Bhagavad-gita, chapter 7, text 14. Vaivihesha gunamai mama maya duratyaya mameva ye prapadyante maya metam tarantite. Translation: This divine energy of mind, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome. But those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has innumerable energies, and all these energies are divine. Although the living entities are part of these energies and are therefore divine due to contact with material energy, their original spiritual power is covered. Being thus covered by material energy, one cannot possibly overcome its influence. As previously stated, both the material and spiritual natures, being emanations from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, are eternal. The living entities belonging to the eternal superior nature of the Lord. But due to the contamination by the inferior nature, matter, their illusion is also eternal. The conditioned soul is therefore called Nitya Baddha, or eternally conditioned. No one can trace out the history of his becoming conditioned at a certain date in material history. Consequently, his release from the clutches of material nature is very difficult, even though that material nature is an inferior energy. Because material nature energy is ultimately conducted by the supreme will, which the living entity cannot overcome. Inferior material nature is defined herein as divine nature due to its divine connection and movement by the divine will. Being conducted by divine will, material nature, although inferior, acts so wonderfully in the construction and destruction of the cosmic manifestation. The Vedas confirm this as follows: Mayam tu prakritim vidyan, mayinam tu maheshwaram. Although Maya, illusion, is false or temporary, the background of Maya is the supreme magician, the personality of Godhead, who is Maheshwara, the supreme control. Shvetashvatara Upanishad 4.10. Another meaning of guna is rope. It is to be understood that the conditioned soul is tightly tied up by the ropes of illusion. A man bound by the hands and feet cannot free himself. He must be held by a person who is unbound. Because the bound cannot help the bound, the rescuer must be liberated. Therefore, only Lord Krishna or his bona fide representative, the spiritual master, can release the conditioned soul. Without such superior help, one cannot be freed from the bondage of material nature. Devotional service or Krishna consciousness can help one gain such release. Krishna, being the Lord of the illusory energy, can order this insurmountable energy to release the conditioned soul. He orders this release out of his causeless mercy on the surrendered soul and out of his paternal affection for the living entity who is originally a beloved son of the Lord. Therefore, surrender unto the lotus feet of the Lord is the only means to get free from the clutches of stringent material nature. The words Mam Eva are also significant. Mam means unto Krishna, Vishnu only, and not Brahma or Shiva. Although Brahma and Shiva are greatly elevated and are almost on the level of Vishnu, it's not possible for such incarnations of Rajagun, passion, and Tamogun, ignorance, to release the conditioned soul from the clutches of Maya. In other words, both Brahma and Shiva are also under the influence of Maya. Only Vishnu is the master of Maya. Therefore, he alone can give release to the conditioned soul. The Vedas, Shvetashvatara Upanishad 3.8, confirm this in the phrase, Tameva Viditva, or freedom is possible only by understanding Krishna. Even Lord Shiva affirms that liberation can be achieved only by the mercy of Vishnu. Lord Shiva says, Mukti Pradata Sarvesham Vishnu Eva Na Sangshaya. There is no doubt that Vishnu is the deliverer of liberation for everyone. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Buddhale Shmati Bhaktivedanta Swamiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shvadan Paschata Deshatara Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare. Devi Esha Gunamai Mama Maya Duratyaya Mameva Ye Prapadyante Maya Vetam Tarantite. This divine energy of mind, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome. But those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond. So Krishna speaking here about Guna. Gunamai is Guna. In the verse just before this, he says, deluded by the three modes, goodness, passion, and ignorance, the whole world does not know me, who am above the modes and inexhaustible. This is the subject of Guna, which is actually spoken in detail in chapter 14. So, but there's a mention here. Bhagavad-gita is supposed to be an introduction to spiritual science. Prabhupada said it's an undergraduate study. Later, Bhagavatam is a postgraduate study. So even though this is the beginning, we can see that a lot of knowledge is assumed. Krishna is mentioning Guna. It's assumed someone will understand what is Guna. But actually, this was meant for the lower section of society who could not understand Veda. They also would have understood all this. So what was the level at that time? And what is our level? We can't understand. Arjuna heard once. We're hearing again, we're not understanding. So in this verse, he's speaking about Guna. Guna means rope or mode of nature. Okay. He's saying this Guna, this illusion which is covering the living entity. He spoke about it in the previous verse. In the previous verse, he said that the entire world is deluded. They're all in illusion. And they do not know me because I'm above the modes. They are in mode, they are illusion, they cannot know me, who was not in illusion. So that speaking about that illusion, he's saying this divine energy of mine is difficult to overcome. It's not possible to overcome. So now Krishna introduces the modes in this section of Gita, the three modes of material nature. It's compared to three ropes. Illusion, Maya, is what is covering us, that we cannot understand who is God. And that makes an insect think he's an insect. And actually, he's a soul, servant of Krishna. Why is he thinking he's a mosquito? Because of Maya, power of Maya. It deludes him to make him forget his original identity. So that Maya is strong, and it consists of three modes, like three ropes intertwined. You've seen how ropes are intertwined together. Then they become very difficult to break. So these three modes are tightly binding us. Okay, so we are all conditioned by Maya in this material world. That's why we are here. Everyone in this material world we can see is illusion, thinking that they are the body. If someone doesn't think that, he'll not be here. Unless he came to help us to remember that we are not. So we are all conditioned. Prabhupada uses this word conditioned a lot. Sanskrit is baddha, baddha jeev. And even in other languages, it's bound. In other Indian languages, they use the word bound. Bound means tied up. Baddha is in Sanskrit and Hindi. So in English, Prabhupada uses the word conditioned souls. Condition. And what does that mean? If you look at that meaning, condition means, and a condition is given to us. You can live, but you cannot do certain things. Just like someone tells, a child tells the parent, I want to go out. No, you cannot go out. I want to go out with my friend. No, you cannot go out. Okay, you can go out under one condition. You take the phone, you phone me every 1 hour, or you don't take the car, or you go out with your elder brother. These are the conditions. So condition life. That means we souls, we are given condition to live. Condition is for the fish. You cannot leave the water. You must be in the water. You must eat, what do they eat right now? Plankton, other fish, whatever they eat. So we're all given conditions. Someone is born Eskimo, you know Eskimos. Eskimo. Eskimos are people live in the North Pole, South Pole. They wear some tight, warm jacket. They're living in snow. They build a house with snow. It's called igloo. They build a house in the snow, and they eat by digging a hole in the snow and putting a string and catching a fish. These are Eskimos. So Eskimos are born. These are conditioned souls who are told, you must live in this. They don't live there. They live in the cold. Some are born in the desert. They suffer looking for water whole life. At night it's very cold. Daytime it's very hot. Everywhere is sand. I've been to desert. Everywhere sand will enter. Everywhere, everything, the food, the phone, in the clothes, everywhere sand. This is their condition for existence. Everyone is a conditioned soul, given different condition to live. Therefore, we are conditioned souls. We are not liberated souls. Liberated souls have no condition. They can go anywhere. But we are given a kind of mind, a kind of body, a kind of culture, and to live like this. Now live like this. And we are living, we're thinking this is right. Then Bhagavatam tells, no, it's not. Actually, we are conditioned. We are not limited by time and space. We are not limited in one planet, what to speak of one country or one atmosphere. Animals are heavily conditioned. At least humans are less conditioned, but very sinful, and we take birth as animals. Animals are very conditioned. They cannot understand what's going on. Now, who's the ruling party of India? They don't understand. Their intelligence is low. Diwali comes, fireworks are going off, and we understand fireworks. Dog thinks, what is going on? This material world is destroying. They very much fear. Animals will run. You'll not see any stray dogs because they don't have intelligence. So they're more conditioned. And plants are extremely conditioned. You think they're not even alive. Many people are making a mistake because they're so conditioned. Their consciousness is very covered. So in that way, everyone is conditioned in different ways. Different animals, different species, different humans are conditioned in different ways, according to the past karma. If we want to be punished, we'll be conditioned much than we cannot understand, perceive anything. Even within human beings, some are conditioned more, some less. Some we talk about spiritual topic, they catch. Others can't understand. What is this? I don't understand. And what's the point? So that is material world, conditioned soul. The character given to that conditioned soul is called Swabhav. What is his character based on his material mode, the conditioning he's given in that life? That's called Swabhav. He may be very angry, very happy, very sad, very quiet, very talkative, good at maths or good at running. Anyway, Swabhav is character, material conditioning for that particular birth. The Varnashram institution in the Vedas, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, what they do is they see people's conditioning, they pick out the people and give them a certain work or duty to do in society. Nowadays, everyone studied, everyone joined army. Maybe not in India, but like in Turkey, some countries, everyone must join the army. And then what will happen when the war starts? People will run away. They're not fighters. Who is a fighter will fight. Everyone must study. That is their mass education. That was not even in Europe before. It came recently. And but everyone is not inclined for that. Someone may not want to study, but he can make money more than the IIT fellow. Anyone, he'll make money. Better he just does his business. So the Varnashram institution, they picked out the different conditioning people and gave them a certain duty. Now that is good for the society because the ruler is really a ruler. He's not, in America, a peanut farmer became president, Jimmy Carter. Then in different countries, in one country called Ethiopia, someone came in power. He was a really low-class kind of person. He became a dictator and he put some very crazy rules. He said, okay, he started a war with a neighboring country. Everyone must go to war. And the people in the university, intellectuals were criticizing. He said, you will go first. So he picked all of them, put them in army, sent them. Of course, they were killed first. Now there's no intellectual class in that country. So it's benefit to society that people conditioned a certain way are given certain duty. That is in the Bhagavad-gita, Krishna says, Satoguna Maya Srishta, Guna Karma Vibhava. So benefit to society, benefit to them also. What they're more peaceful to do, they'll do. Condition, nature. In the purport of this verse, Prabhupada is giving some kind of summary overview of how the jiva is bound up, how he becomes bound up. We're seeing that we are bound, condition. How jiva becomes bound up and how he comes out. So, yeah, he's mentioning that the jiva, the soul, is part of Krishna's superior energy, spiritual energy. Actually, Maya is part of the inferior energy. So how is it that Maya can cover the soul, who is superior? Because matter is inferior to spirit. In Bhagavad-gita 7.4, it's mentioned that the jiva is superior energy, 7.5. That the jiva is a superior nature to matter because he's conscious and he can manipulate the matter. It said that he's a superior nature. So, how is it then that if it's an inferior nature that he's covering the jiva, an inferior nature is covering the jiva? And the answer is given here. Because it's Krishna, inferior energy is Krishna's. It's inferior because, like matter, like this, is not conscious. I am conscious, I can move. This, my body is matter. So I'm moving my body, I can move the curtain, I can move it because it's superior. I'm conscious, I have consciousness to move and decide. But the matter does not. But the same matter now covered me. How is that possible? And it's possible because that matter belongs to Krishna. He's manipulating it. Devi Esha Gunamai, Krishna is saying that illusory energy which is covering the jiva, that's my energy. In the previous verse, he's saying, Sibir Gunamai Bhave, Epi Sarvamidam Jagat. These three modes have covered everyone in this material world. Everyone is covered. At the end of the purport, it says, even Brahma, Shiva are in illusion ultimately because of Maya, although they are much greater than us and they're almost on level of Vishnu, but they get manipulated. So it's so great that the whole material world is deluded. So how can it be? Krishna says, Devi Yesha Gunamai, my Maya is manipulating and covering the souls. So that is the jiva is although superior, but comes under the inferior energy because of Krishna. So the jiva is spiritual. It says in the book that although living entities are part of the energy of superior energy of Krishna, spiritual. So they should be spiritual, having a spiritual consciousness and in spiritual, having spiritual energy. But it's not like that. Why? Because of misuse of free will. We, being servant of Krishna, are given opportunity. You serve God or don't serve. And that free will is required in love. Because we serve God with love. Then with love, you have to decide. Now, I want to cook something nice for Krishna. Now, I want to pick some flowers and give. We have to have that free will. So we can love and show our love like that. But with that free will, we decide, now, I don't want to serve Krishna. Misuse of free will. And we don't want to. Then Maya, the illusory energy, has adhikar, has the right to cover us. Otherwise, it has no right to touch the soul, pure soul part of Krishna. But when he decides, I don't want to serve God, then he's given the right. That Maya is given the right, you can cover this jiva. So he gets covered. And due to misuse of his free will, he loses his spiritual consciousness and spiritual nature. Otherwise, in Srimad Bhagavatam, there was a conversation between two sages, Maitreya Muni and Vidura. So one of the sages asked the other one, Vidura. He was taking Shiksha, asking it. So in third canto of Bhagavatam, he asked one question, yes. How is it that the jiva, who is spiritual and transcendental to matter, like matter cannot limit it. Actually, the soul, if he wants to leave this material world, he can leave. He can do anything. Nothing can stop him. But how is it that jiva, who can who is transcendent of this material world, is not under any force, is now come under the dominion of matter. That cannot be possible. So the reply was, yes, it's not possible. Asango yam purusha, the soul cannot mix with matter, this material world. It's true, not possible. But he can only by the power of Krishna. When Krishna, only Krishna can cover him. Krishna covered him. Why? Because he decided not to serve God. So he got covered. So that it's only by the power of God that we can get an illusion. Otherwise, soul is manipulating matter. You get them, he is superior. He's exploiting material nature. So now, illusion as Nitya Baddha, we are known as Nitya Baddha. It's called, we say Nitya. Nitya means eternal. We are actually supposed to be serving Krishna in his abode, in Krishna in his pastimes. But why we are saying that we are Nitya Baddha, conditioned eternally? Because we are bound up such a long time ago that we cannot find the beginning of our bondage. So it's called Nitya Baddha, eternally conditioned. That's the using that word because it's a very long time, although it's not really eternal. That sense. So now to get out of this illusory energy, whereby I'm thinking that this is my body, my country, my family, my society, my dog, my car, I am human, I'm Indian. So this illusion covered to come out and understand, I am a soul, I'm eternal soul, servant of God, servant of Krishna. It's not easy. After so many births of living in a way, thinking that I am master, I'll enjoy this world, I am earning money, I will do this, I will whatever, write the program. I will do. So we think I will do. So because we are saying I, aham and mameti, two things are there. Aham means I. Mameti means mine. So there are two phases of illusion. I and my things, my things. So in illusion, in reality, it's not a fact. Now we've done that for so many lives. So to come to the stage now thinking that I am a soul, eternal servant of God, that is not easy. Difficult. Only unless we surrender to the Sarva Shaktiman, the possessor of all the energies, who is also possessing the illusory energy. And we name it. His name is checking who's paying attention. Okay. Anyway, maybe paying attention, you didn't get the question. So yeah, it's Krishna, Sarva Shaktiman, possessor of all. Different names are there. Yogeshwara, that is possessor of all mystic power. Jagannath, Lord of the universe. So unless we surrender to him, we can remove the energy. Otherwise, these energies is divine. It says, it's divine energy. You cannot remove it. We cannot come out of this illusion. We say illusion. This illusion, to understand, it's like a dream. In a dream, we may think that I am a king, I'm ruling, I am this, I'm that. And we may be fighting someone and about to be killed, and we'll be fearing and afraid, but that's a dream. Suddenly, someone will wake us up, wake up. Oh, I'm not a king, I'm not ruling the country, and I'm not being killed. Then immediately all anxiety goes. Similarly, now we are in a dream. We have to come out of this dream and understand reality. And once reality comes, then we'll not be in anxiety and fear anymore. It's due to this illusion that we such a disturbed condition. Okay, so as we said that the verse is saying, Krishna says, Gunamayi, that this illusion is mind, my energy. People see this nature in the world. They see the nature of this material world. They see a big waterfall, a beautiful mountain, amazing, so beautiful how this nature is acting. Or they see ocean, powerful ocean, so many material phenomena. Or tsunami, very powerful, knock everything down. pandemic. These are forces of nature. People marvel, wow, powerful, pretty powerful. In Africa, they have this savannah safari, the safari. So people go on safari. I went to safari. So when you go in the middle of the savannah. Savannah is a flat grassland. Flat, you will not see any mountain, nothing. Then you come to savannah, and savannah is flat grassland. There you see elephants, lions. You know how to find which animal. When you see grass, this tall grass, yellow color, this is lion country. Lions will be in the grass. So to see these animals, people go in the car and they go in the middle of the savannah, they put out the engine, just stand there and listen. At that time, we get a realization that I'm in the middle of this nature and these elephants are 3 times the size of the car. And the lions are there, and if these animals want, they can just attack and finish us. But they're just silent. And it's such a silence that you only hear the wind. So then we realize power of nature, but we will not realize in the city. The city, we think, I put on this tap, water is coming. I put on this, fire is coming. We cannot understand really how we are dependent on nature, how it's powerful, until some pandemic comes, or tsunami or something. So actually, nature is powerful. People understand. But now, whose nature? They're not asking. Nature's glory is beautiful. Yes, whose nature? It's not acting independently. Krishna says, my nature. We have to glorify. They're not glorifying the one behind nature, or they don't want to acknowledge. It's given in here, some purport that this nature. It says here, the Vedas confirm, Mayam tu prakritim vidhyan, Mayinam tu maheshwaram. Although Maya illusion is false or temporary, the background of Maya is the supreme magician. Okay, and not that word. Actually, we can look at Bhagavad-gita. Maya dekshena prakriti suyate sacharachara. That verse, Krishna says that this material nature, which is now going on, sun, moon, water, wind, evaporation, ocean, everything, is working under my supervision, Maya Dyakshena Prakriti. So, Aksha means eyes. Maya Dyakshena means under my eyes. It means under my supervision. Nothing will happen without Krishna's will. That we know very clearly. So, everyone is glorifying the nature, but they don't want to glorify the person behind it. That is because of envy. We left that material world to think I'm boss. We don't want to surrender to God. So we'll not admit that he's controlling everything, but he's 100% in control of everything. In the purport, it's explained that guna, where you said guna means illusion, mode, triguna, 3 modes, sattva, gun, rajagun, tamogun. But another meaning is rope. So when we say guna, that the ropes, we are under guna, means it's like we are tied by a rope. Is that famous picture? I believe it's this. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So there's a picture of 2 people who are being controlled by ropes. You see that? Now, one is a boss, one is a servant. One is with he's telling that man to dig, and the other one is digging. But actually, they are both servants of Maya. So this picture shows the guna as a rope. We are all under this rope. What is the meaning of that? You see, everyone is under the rope, means that we are bound up to act a certain way. Because in the previous life, we wanted to maybe be very angry, or we had a certain kind of desire. So we are born in a certain body and condition where we must do that. And we are forced to do that. Just like people like to swim, spend a lot of time in water. At death, they just remember ocean and swimming. They take birth as a fish. Then you must swim. You can't say, okay, now I'll come out of the water. No, you cannot. Bound up, like the rope, they bound. And a snake is bound up. You must live in the hole. Envious people. They think about the snake. Snake will attack without reason. Without reason, they'll just attack. So they must behave like that. The snake cannot say, why are we fighting? Let me just be nice to everyone and we should all be peaceful. No, his nature is like that. Now he has to do that. Only until they come back to the human form, then they have some discrimination, vivek. They can decide, no, I want to do this or not that. Otherwise, we're bound up. So guna, it says that guna is another word is rope, because as I was mentioned in the beginning, the Maya consists of three modes, Sattvagun, Rajagun, Tamagun. The three modes combine together to bind us. Some are having more Sattvagun nature, some Rajagun, Tamagun. Sattvic means in mode of goodness. That means they'll have some level of knowledge what is going on. They'll be relatively little peaceful, but they will think that I have a lot of knowledge. That is their condition. Then people in Rajagun, they are conditioned for sense gratification. They are dedicating their life that I must enjoy this body, this life. I must enjoy. But how long will you enjoy? As old age comes, everything breaks down. Then they become morose. Because for them, enjoyment is only that is life. So persons in Rajaguna are impelled for sense gratification. Whereas someone in Sattvagun is not really much. Everyone is little, but more conditioned to knowledge, some level of knowledge. Tamogun people, they cannot understand what is going on. They have a complete misunderstanding what is going on. Whether, it's said that they take religion to be irreligion and irreligion to be religion. And they have a level of madness. And sleep and laziness. So definitely we have to come out of it. But different activities have different modes. For example, sleep is in the mode of ignorance. In the evening, the tamagun comes very heavy at night. The influence of tamagun. And so we don't do anything, just go to sleep. We can't do anything. It's we will not get knowledge, neither will we discuss anything properly. So in Vedic culture, you just when the sun comes, when the sun goes down, they do some spiritual activity. They'll chant their Sandhyavandana, do some puja, arati, hear some katha, Ramayana, Mahabharata, then go to sleep, then wake up early. And early morning is Sattvagun, very good time for study, for bhajan, for anything. So the three modes, they combine together, and we are tightly bound by these modes. Jiva cannot get out on his own. On his own, he cannot. He's tied up. But now, the Jiva is not meant to be in Maya. Jiva, or the soul, is meant to be able to roam anywhere he wants in the creation, like Narad Muni. He entered everywhere. He entered Ramayana, Mahabharata, Bhagavatam, and even now, even Prabhupada Leela, he'll go anywhere. He's not governed by time, neither space. He'll go to Vaikuntha. He's basically the word empowered incarnation or devotional service of God, devotional energy. It basically he's spreading bhakti, devotional service. He goes all over the world trying to spread that principle. So Narad Muni, he's not limited. And the Jiva is meant to be like that. He's meant to be able to go anywhere. But because of being bound, Bhagavad-gita is meant to untie us. That is the purpose. We are meant to become unbound. This is the Gita specifically. Then Bhagavatam continues after that. Bhagavatam is now the life is starting after we are unbound. Now begins the real life of devotion, bhakti. Before that, we were just in darkness. So now Gita specifically is meant for the conditioned soul, how to come out of the illusion. First, we have to understand we are illusion, how we are illusion, what is tying us more, then how to come out. But one thing is made here clear in the purport. It says, a man bound by the hands and feet cannot free himself. I am bound up my hands and my feet. I cannot tie myself. Someone has to come. But what if that person coming? He also is bound up, hands and feet. What will he do? That means for us to come out of Maya, we have to come, someone who is not in Maya has to help us. So Vedas, they are aporoshya. They are not spoken by any man. It's not a product of a man. It's divine. So from God. Asya Mahato Bhutasya Vishnu Sitamedya Rigvedo, Rigvedo, Samaveda, Yajurveda, Dharvangi, Rasa. The 4 Vedas emanated from the reading of Mahavishnu. So they are from Vishnu. So they are perfect. If we take shelter, they will deliver us. But some people write a book. They write like 7 laws for spiritual success. Who wrote it? That man. Is he successful spiritually? No. Why should I? I'll come out. He's not out. He's, if we are still servant of anger, lust, hunger, all these things, means we are not liberated, then you cannot say, I liberate you. That's like one of my friends warned me once. Beware of the sick doctor. Or the fat yoga teacher. Okay, recording is going on. So we have to see who's going to liberate. They should be liberated. It says here. So it says here that, for example, it says in Srimad Bhagavatam that Prahlad Maharaj was describing about the mass of people of this world. He said, they can't understand, mass of people don't understand. The best benefit for them is to go to Vishnu. They have taken this external material world as everything, and they have material desires to enjoy. They are taking shelter of blind, and they want guidance how to come out of this illusion. They took shelter of blind people. Persons who are blind, they cannot understand what is the nature of this world. So they took shelter of those people. And they themselves are blind. They took shelter of another blind person, show me which way to go. And the result is they all enter the ditch at once. Therefore, they cannot see. So they're here in modern society, we have taken leaders as who? Some scientists, some philosopher, some psychologist, politician. And in some cases, cricket star is guiding society, or actress. Yeah. They give opinion. Everyone is saying, what is your opinion? Oh, she said that. Twitter. They have to hear what they are saying. They're in illusion. So what is the value of opinion? We have to go to Shastra or to someone who is not in Maya, to someone who is liberated. Himself not bound. He's not bound. He can unbind. The liberated person is one who took shelter of Krishna. He's liberated. He can help. So Krishna helped Arjuna. So Krishna can help, or one who took shelter of Krishna, he can help. He can help us. So they can untap. And if that person guides us to surrender to Vishnu, and we surrender immediately, Krishna will come. Immediately. He will not delay. He says in many places, Gita, he says in one, Teshamaham samudarta pritya samsara vartmani bhavami nachirat partha maya vekshita chetasam. One whose mind is fixed on me, maya vekshita chetasam, is fixed on me always. Then I, Tesham, aham samudarta, I become the deliverer. I will pick him up from mrityu samsara vartmani, from this ocean of birth and death, this suffering condition. I will pick him personally. So no delay, Krishna will deliver us. But we have to come to the point of surrender. That requires guidance, and that guidance should come from a liberated personality. If the books are there, it should be a liberated personality. If the guide or someone who took shelter of a liberated personality, then we can be delivered. It says here that only Lord Krishna or his bona fide representative, spiritual master, can release the conditioned soul. Without such superior help, one cannot be freed from the bondage of material nature. Devotional service or Krishna consciousness can help one gain release. Krishna, being the Lord of illusory, can order the insurmountable energy to release the conditioned soul. Personally, Krishna can just give the order and he can just let go. She can let go. Otherwise, we cannot do it on our own. Out of paternal affection means like fatherly affection. Immediately, Jiva takes shelter of Krishna and release. Immediately, Krishna will release. Out of affection, immediately. So it says here, therefore, surrender unto the lotus feet of the Lord is the only means to get free from clutches. Many people say different things. You do this, you chant this mantra, do this, go there, surrender to this and that. But the Bhagavad-gita is saying very clearly, simply we surrender to Krishna, we'll get perfection. Very clear. It's given. Who can free the living entity? Krishna is saying in the verse, Devi Esha Gunamai, Mama Mai Duratya. Mam eva ye prapadyante mayametam karante. Mam eva. Eva means certainly or only. Only one who surrenders to me. Prapadyante mayametam karante. He can cross over the ocean. In Bhagavatam it says, like to cross the ocean is very difficult. If you get in a boat and we say, now we'll cross that ocean, we don't know what will happen. There'll be a storm or some big whale will knock the boat or we'll run out of food. It's risky, sailor, So, but one who desires to cross over and surrenders to Krishna, that ocean becomes like a calf's footprint. So city people won't understand what is a calf's footprint. But in the village, what happened? They take the calves out into the farm. Then the calves have tiny feet. It sinks into the mud easily. And then if you water the plants or rain comes, so many little puddles of the calf. And do we ever wonder, how am I going to cross over this calf footprint? We don't. It's small. Similarly, when it said in Shastra, Bhagavatam in one verse, that Bhavan Budir Vatsapadam, that ocean of material suffering becomes like a small puddle and you just cross over. It's not a problem. For devotee of Krishna, liberation is not a problem. They don't think about that. So, Bhavan Budir Vatsapadam becomes very easy. One who took shelter of Krishna becomes very easy. So, but Eva, Krishna says, Ma Eva, only me. Okay, and Prabhupada says here in the purport, where's the verse? Yeah, here. It says, no, this purport. Krishna's Prabhupada says, Mam Eva is also significant. Mam says, Krishna says, Vishnu, me, Krishna, Vishnu, only, not Brahma or Shiva. Although Brahma and Shiva are greatly elevated personalities, but Bhagavad-gita is saying that simply only by surrender to Krishna, one gets liberation. Mam eva ye prapatyanti. So that source of liberation could be understood. And the reason is given is that we have three murtis, we have demigods, but our understanding is that they're all under Krishna. Ekala Ishvara Krishna are sabritya. As Bhagavad-gita says, Krishna says that Aham Deva, Aham Adir Hi Devanam. I am the source of the Devas. In chapter 10, he says, Nami Vidu Suragana, Prabhavan Maharshaya, Aham Adir Hi Devanam, Maharshinam Sarvasha. Krishna says, the Devatas don't understand me, neither do the Rishis. No one can understand me. Why? Because I am their origin. Just like when the child is born, if someone asks the child, how did your father come in this world? I don't know, because I was born, he was already there. Isn't it? How will I know? Or we came to this house, someone asked, how did they build this house? We don't know. We came, the house was built. So Krishna says, these devatas and rishis, they are great, they have knowledge, they have power, but they don't know me, who is there, because I'm their origin. They came from me. I was already there. They cannot understand me. I am the origin of them. Prabhava and Maharashaya. They cannot understand my Prabhava, my power, my glories. Prabhava, no Maharashaya. The Maharishis cannot understand. So they can't understand. Only, yeah, so it says therefore that only through Krishna, surrender to Krishna, is it possible. And it's a philosophical point that because Krishna is not under Maya, but everyone is. How will someone in Maya take you out? Cannot. Where is Maya residing? Bhagavad-gita says Maya is in intelligence, mind, and senses. So we will not think that I have high IQ and I'm very intelligent, I graduated from high IQ. So I'll come out of Maya with my brain. No, that brain you're using, that is infected by Maya. So it will guide you back in Maya. Illusion. So only not in Maya, Krishna. Krishna can only take us out. He's not in Maya. Except who else? Devotee of Krishna. The devotee, Krishna is not in Maya. Someone surrenders to Krishna, out of affection, he'll remove Maya from that person. Then that person can deliver you. That's the system. So it says here in the verse in Shvetashad Upanishad, Mukti Pradata, here, Lord Shiva saying, before that, Tam eva vidvati mukti. Just by surrendering to you, one can cross over the oceans of death. There's another similar. Okay, then last, in the end of the purport, Lord Shiva saying, Mukti Pradata Sarvesham Vishnu Eva Na Samshaya. There is no doubt that Vishnu is the deliverer, liberation for everyone. So Krishna is saying here clearly that this, in the previous verse, that Triviguramaya Bhavet Eti Sarvamidam Jagat, this whole material world. Material world means whole universe. Everyone in all the universe are deluded. And my Bhavet Eti Sarvamidam Jagat. What's after Mohitam Nabi Janat? Because they deluded, they don't know. Then now he's saying that delusion is my energy. And if you surrender to me, you can cross it. There's no other way. That is Hare Krishna. Questions? Comment. Yeah, Bhagavad-gita. Jai. Srimad Bhagavad-gita.